But first, Laura, thank you, and thanks for inviting me. Something so important to me, it's been for my whole career, the affordable and supportive housing for New York and for the country. And I first want to thank everyone on this Zoom for for all of you and the great job you do, the Supporting Housing Network, as well as the member organizations. You've been leading the fight in the need for more affordable and supportive housing, and have been the ones on the ground serving the families and individuals that are so much in need. So the last 2 years, COVID has made it even clearer than before that we need housing, that housing policy is healthcare policy. That's something I've believed in for decades. And as America turns the corner on COVID, COVID showed us the problems in society. And one of the problems is the lack of affordable housing. And so I think, you know, I was on the housing subcommittee when I got to the Congress in 1980 for my 18 years in the House, and then on the housing subcommittee in the banking committee in the Senate until I became leader, where I had to give up my committees. But so I've been fighting for housing for a very, very long time. And when we were crafting the COVID relief legislation, I was proud to lead the fight to prioritize housing. As you know, the president had no housing in his original BBB plan. Because of the person you're looking at, we got over $350 billion in the original $3.5 trillion plan. And this is in the BBB, and now, you know, we're fighting to get more, and I'll get to that in a minute. But in CARES and ARP, we provided $9 billion in additional funding for homeless and supportive housing services, $45 billion in rental assistance, and I fought so hard for that because people were being kicked out of their homes. New York got $2.1 billion in that. We also in ARP got $5 billion in emergency housing vouchers, especially for individuals and families most affected by the pandemic, low-income households, families experiencing homelessness, victims of domestic violence. And that meant that over 70,000 families in the country, 10,000 in New York, would have safe and affordable homes. So that is very, very important. As you know, in the ARP bill, in the BBB bill, as I said, I got them to put $350 billion in for housing. Obviously, it was cut back. But as we were pushing for BBB, many people, led by me actually, fought to keep housing as robust in the BBB as possible. So now as we go forward, we got to keep fighting on that. And one of the things that is helping us in this new world, everyone's talking about high costs for average families. Guess what is one of the things where the costs have gone up the greatest? Housing. Guess rental and buying a new home. One of the reasons, what's the main reason for that? The main reason for that is that we don't have enough affordable housing. So simple supply and demand says the price is going to go way up. So we have such a huge demand for housing. Our city of New York is not going to be able to take any more people. Supposedly we grew by 800,000 people from 2010 to 2020, but only 140,000 new housing units. So you can see why costs are going through the roof and why we need affordable housing. So that's what I'm fighting to do. And the fight is not over. You are 100% right. We are trying to put together a new reconciliation bill. And as you know, Joe Manchin was the one person who was not for the old bill. And we're talking to him, and all the senators are having discussions. These will heat up in April. At the moment, we are focused on getting a budget done. That's happening today. And most of all, getting a good Supreme Court nominee where we need all 50 votes. But starting in April and May, the discussions will really heat up around, we probably won't call it BBB, but, you know, a revitalized BBB. And we need to make sure housing is part of that. And since we had such a large amount in the BBB bill, even the cut down BBB bill, we had, I think, over $150 billion in housing, maybe a little bit more, divided among public housing, assisted housing, and all the other programs. We have a decent chance. Manchin at times has said he doesn't like housing, and at times he said it's got to include rural housing. And the second is a good path to go because we do need rural housing. There's a problem in the rural areas as there is in the urban and suburban areas. So we are going to keep fighting in the reconciliation proposal. We will try a new reconciliation proposal. As I said, the focus will heat up further in April and May. Now we're having discussions. Manchin doesn't want those public, so I can't talk about the details of them. But you can be sure that Chuck Schumer, your majority leader and New York senior senator, is going to be fighting to keep housing in a robust way in that proposal. So in answer to your question, what can you do? Talk to all your senators, and in this case, Democratic senators. You don't have to go to Republicans. Since reconciliation will be Democratic, go to them and stress how important it is to keep housing in BBB. It's tough. And obviously, we need to get Manchin on board. So any affiliations you have in West Virginia or any links to Manchin will be important. Don't do it now. Wait till April. That's when we'll start again. But even to go to Democratic senators as a whole and talk to them about the need for assisted housing, public housing, affordable housing, so many things is important. Obviously, one thing that we did do that can't be taken away is getting the low income housing tax credit to 4%. And that was a big help and a goal of many of ours for a very long time. And that I pushed to get done, and we did get it done. So that's where we're at. Do not give up the fight. It is not over. It's an uphill fight. I don't want to delude people that it's, a slam dunk. It's not. But if we keep fighting, we have a decent chance of success, and I urge you to keep fighting.
Senator, thank you so much for those encouraging words. And so I know you're so busy. We're so grateful that you spent the evening with us, a few minutes of your evening. And we really look forward to continuing our partnership and really getting this done. We know it'll go a long way in the state of New York to have these resources.
Yeah, we probably have a greater housing crisis than just about any other place because we're so densely populated and our population is growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you, and we'll be in touch in April.
Great, terrific. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your good work. And always, any specific issues you have where I can be of help, particularly at the federal level, we have a good secretary in Marcia Fudge. She listens. Anything you come across where we can get involved, please call Ryan Egan on my staff here in Washington or the folks you know in New York.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you again.
Have a nice evening, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you for making the time for me.
Thank
Absolutely.
On to
you.
victory. Let's keep fighting,
Thank you.
folks. Don't give up, please.
Never.
Thank you.
Thank you.